Welcome to the English Podcast, where we help you learn English through engaging conversations. Today we're diving into an important topic that affects us all: social issues. We'll discuss some of the most pressing social issues today and how they impact our lives. Inequality is one of the most pervasive social issues, taking many forms such as income inequality, gender inequality, and racial inequality. These disparities create significant barriers for people in achieving their potential. Income inequality refers to the gap between the rich and the poor. This can lead to a lack of access to essential services like healthcare, education, and housing for those on the lower end of the economic spectrum. In many countries, the richest 1% control a large portion of the wealth, while millions live in poverty. This vast disparity often results in systemic disadvantages for those in lower income bracket. Access to quality education and healthcare becomes limited, leading to a cycle of poverty that is difficult to break. Furthermore, income inequality can create social tension and contribute to higher crime rates as people struggle to meet their basic needs. Gender inequality is another critical issue. Women and girls often face discrimination and barriers simply because of their gender. This affects their access to education, employment opportunities, and even their safety. In some places, girls are still denied the right to go to school, and women are underrepresented in leadership positions. This underrepresentation leads to a lack of female perspectives in decision-making processes, which perpetuates gender biases and inequality. Additionally, women often earn less than men for the same work, a disparity known as the gender pay gap. This economic disadvantage affects their overall quality of life and financial independence. Addressing gender inequality requires systemic changes and cultural shifts to ensure that women have equal opportunities and rights. Racial inequality is another pressing social issue. People of different races often experience discrimination and unequal treatment. This can manifest in various ways, such as unfair hiring practices, biased policing, and limited access to quality education and healthcare. For instance, in the job market, resumes with names perceived as belonging to racial minorities often receive fewer callbacks than those with traditionally white-sounding names, even when qualifications are identical. In the criminal justice system, racial minorities are more likely to be stopped, searched, and incarcerated compared to their white counterpart. These disparities create a cycle of disadvantage and marginalization. Combating racial inequality involves addressing both individual prejudices and systemic biases perpetuate these disparities. Another major social issue is climate change. While it might seem like an environmental issue, it has significant social implications. Climate change disproportionately affects the poorest and most vulnerable communities. Rising sea levels, extreme weather events, and food shortages can lead to displacement, loss of livelihoods, and increased conflict. For example, small island nations and coastal communities are at risk of losing their homes due to rising sea levels. Agricultural communities face food insecurity as changing weather patterns affect crop yields. Additionally, extreme weather events such as hurricanes, floods, and wildfires are becoming more frequent and severe, leading to loss of life and property. Addressing climate change requires global cooperation and significant changes in policies and behaviors to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and build resilient communities. Mental health is also a crucial social issue. Many people struggle with mental health challenges, but there is often a stigma associated with seeking help. It's vital to promote awareness and support for mental health to ensure everyone can lead a fulfilling life. Mental health services should be accessible to all, and we should create environments where people feel safe to talk about their struggles. Mental health issues such as depression, anxiety, and PTSD can have profound effects on an individual's quality of life, impacting their ability to work, maintain relationships, and perform daily activities. Unfortunately, mental health care is often underfunded and understaffed, leading to long wait times and limited access to care. Additionally, societal stigma around mental health can prevent people from seeking the help they need. Addressing this issue involves increasing funding for mental health services, promoting mental health education, and creating supportive communities that encourage open discussions about mental health. Access to education is another significant social issue. Education is a fundamental human right, yet millions of children and adults around the world are denied this opportunity. Whether it's due to poverty, conflict, or discrimination, lack of access to education limits individuals' potential and hampers societal progress. In many developing countries, children may have to travel long distances to reach schools, or schools may be poorly equipped and understaffed. Additionally, during times of conflict or natural disasters, education is often disrupted, affecting children's learning and development. Even in developed countries, disparities in education quality can exist between affluent and low-income communities. Ensuring equal access to quality education requires investment in educational infrastructure, training for teachers, and policies that promote inclusive and equitable education for all. Another pressing social issue is healthcare access. Many people around the world do not have access to adequate healthcare services. This can be due to various factors such as poverty, lack of healthcare facilities, or political instability. Access to healthcare is essential for maintaining overall well-being and quality of life. In many low-income countries, healthcare facilities are scarce, and there may be a shortage of healthcare professionals and medical supplies. Even in higher-income countries, there can be significant disparities in healthcare access based on socioeconomic status, race, and geographic location. Addressing this issue involves ensuring that healthcare systems are adequately funded and that healthcare services are accessible and affordable. Homelessness is another critical social issue that affects many communities worldwide. Homelessness can result from various factors, including economic hardship, lack of affordable housing, mental health issues, and substance abuse. People experiencing homelessness face numerous challenges, such as limited access to healthcare, education, and employment opportunities. Additionally, homelessness can have severe physical and mental health consequences. Addressing homelessness requires a comprehensive approach that includes providing affordable housing, supportive services, and addressing the root causes of homelessness. One more significant social issue is human trafficking. Human trafficking involves the exploitation of people through force, fraud, or coercion for various purposes, including forced labor and sexual exploitation. It is a grave violation of human rights and affects millions of people worldwide, including men, women, and children. Victims of human trafficking often endure horrific conditions and suffer from physical and psychological trauma. Combating human trafficking involves international cooperation, stringent laws and regulations, and support services for victims. Another important social issue is the digital divide. In our increasingly digital world, access to technology and the internet has become essential for education, employment, and social participation. However, there is a significant disparity in access to digital resources between different regions and socioeconomic groups. The digital divide can exacerbate existing inequalities, as those without access to technology are at a disadvantage in various aspects of life. Addressing this issue involves ensuring that all communities have access to affordable and reliable internet services and digital literacy programs. Violence against women is another critical social issue that needs to be addressed. This includes domestic violence, sexual assault, and harassment. Women and girls around the world face various forms of violence, which can have devastating physical and psychological effects. Addressing violence against women requires strong legal frameworks, support services for survivors, and efforts to change societal attitudes that perpetuate gender-based violence. Another pressing issue is the treatment of refugees and migrants. Around the world, millions of people are forced to flee their homes due to conflict, persecution, or economic hardship. Refugees and migrants often face significant challenges in their host countries, including discrimination, lack of access to services, and legal hurdles. It is essential to ensure that refugees and migrants are treated with dignity and have access to necessary support and services to rebuild their lives. The rise of nationalism and xenophobia is another concerning social issue. In many parts of the world, there has been a resurgence of nationalist and xenophobic sentiments, which can lead to discrimination, violence, and exclusion of minority groups. Addressing this issue involves promoting tolerance, inclusivity, and understanding among different communities. Substance abuse is another critical social issue that affects individuals and communities worldwide. Substance abuse can lead to a range of health problems, including addiction, overdose, and mental health issues. It can also have significant social and economic consequences, such as increased crime rates and strain on healthcare systems. Addressing substance abuse involves prevention, treatment, and support services for individuals struggling with addiction. Food insecurity is another significant social issue that affects millions of people worldwide. Many people do not have reliable access to sufficient, safe, and nutritious food. Food insecurity can lead to malnutrition, poor health, and limited opportunities for education and employment. Addressing this issue involves ensuring that all people have access to adequate food through policies and programs that promote food security. Another important issue is the aging population and the challenges associated with it. As the global population ages, there is an increasing need for healthcare, social services, and support for older adults. Addressing this issue involves ensuring that older adults have access to healthcare, social services, and opportunities for social participation. Disability rights are another critical social issue. People with disabilities often face significant barriers to education, employment, and social participation. It is essential to ensure that people with disabilities have equal opportunities and access to services and support. This involves addressing physical barriers, promoting inclusive policies, and changing societal attitudes towards disability. Finally, let's talk about poverty. Poverty is a pervasive social issue that affects millions of people worldwide. It involves a lack of access to basic needs such as food, shelter, healthcare, and education. Poverty can have severe physical and psychological effects and limit individuals' opportunities for personal and economic development. Addressing poverty requires comprehensive strategies that include economic development, social protection, and access to essential services. Child labor is another significant social issue that affects millions of children around the world. Children engaged in labor often work in hazardous conditions, missing out on their education and childhood. Child labor perpetuates the cycle of poverty and limits future opportunities. Addressing this issue involves enforcing laws that prohibit child labor, providing support for families in poverty, and ensuring access to quality education for all children. Another pressing social issue is the criminal justice system and mass incarceration. In many countries, the criminal justice system disproportionately affects marginalized communities, leading to higher rates of incarceration, people of color, and those from low-income background. This issue is exacerbated by mandatory sentencing laws, the war on drugs, private prisons. Reforming the criminal justice system involves addressing these disparities, promoting rehabilitation over punishment, and ensuring fair treatment for all individuals. LGBTQ+ rights are another critical social issue. People in the LGBTQ+ community often face discrimination, violence, and exclusion. Ensuring equal rights and protections for LGBTQ+ individuals involves promoting anti-discrimination laws, supporting inclusive policies, and fostering a culture of acceptance and respect. This includes recognizing and addressing issues such as conversion therapy, hate crimes, and barriers to healthcare. Another important social issue is gun violence. Gun violence affects communities around the world, leading to loss of life, injury, and trauma. Addressing gun violence involves implementing stricter gun control measures, promoting responsible gun ownership, and addressing the root causes of violence such as poverty, mental health issues, and social inequality. Community-based programs that promote nonviolence and provide support for at-risk individuals can also help reduce gun violence. Environmental justice is another pressing social issue. Environmental justice addresses the disproportionate impact of environmental hazards on marginalized communities. These communities often face higher exposure to pollution, lack of access to clean water and air, and other environmental risks. Promoting environmental justice involves ensuring that all communities have equal access to a healthy environment and are included in decision-making processes related to environmental policies. Labor rights and fair wages are also critical social issues. Many workers around the world do not have access to fair wages, safe working conditions, or the right to unionize. This is particularly true for workers in industries such as agriculture, manufacturing, and domestic work. Ensuring labor rights involves enforcing labor laws, promoting fair wages, and supporting workers' rights to organize and bargain collectively. Another significant social issue is the right to privacy in the digital age. With the increasing use of technology and the internet, concerns about data privacy and surveillance have become more prevalent. Individuals' personal information is often collected, stored, and used without their consent. Addressing this issue involves implementing data protection laws, promoting transparency, and ensuring that individuals have control over their personal information. Public transportation and urban planning are also important social issues. Access to reliable and affordable public transportation is essential for individuals to reach employment, education, and healthcare services. However, many communities lack adequate public transportation options, leading to social and economic isolation. Promoting sustainable urban planning and investing in public transportation infrastructure can help address this issue. The refugee crisis is another pressing social issue. Around the world, millions of people are displaced due to conflict, persecution, and natural disasters. Refugees often face significant challenges in their host countries, including discrimination, lack of access to services, and legal hurdles. Ensuring that refugees have access to necessary support and services and are treated with dignity is essential for addressing this issue. Water scarcity is another critical social issue. Access to clean and safe water is a fundamental human right, yet many people around the world do not have reliable access to it. Water scarcity can lead to health problems, economic challenges, and social conflict. Addressing this issue involves promoting water conservation, investing in infrastructure, and ensuring equitable access to water resources. Another important social issue is youth unemployment. Many young people around the world struggle to find employment, leading to economic hardship and social exclusion. Addressing youth unemployment involves promoting education and skills training, creating job opportunities, and supporting young entrepreneurs. Hunger and malnutrition are also significant social issues. Many people around the world do not have access to sufficient nutritious food. Hunger and malnutrition can have severe physical and cognitive effects, particularly on children. Addressing this issue involves promoting food security, supporting sustainable agriculture, and ensuring that all people have access to adequate nutrition. Another pressing issue is the treatment of indigenous people. Indigenous communities often face discrimination, displacement, and cultural erasure. Ensuring the rights and protection of indigenous peoples involves recognizing their sovereignty, promoting cultural preservation, and addressing historical injustices. Another significant social issue is the impact of technology on the workforce. Automation and artificial intelligence are transforming industries, leading to job displacement for many workers. While technology can increase efficiency and productivity, it also creates challenges in terms of job security and the need for new skills. Many workers, particularly those in low-skilled jobs, are at risk of losing their livelihoods due to technological advancements. Addressing this issue involves investing in education and retraining programs to help workers adapt to the changing job market. It also requires creating policies that support job creation in emerging industries and ensuring that the benefits of technological advancements are equitably distributed. The opioid crisis is another pressing social issue, particularly in the United States. The widespread misuse of prescription painkillers and illegal opioids has led to a significant increase in overdose deaths and addiction. The opioid crisis has devastating effects on individuals, families, and communities, contributing to health problems, economic hardship, and social instability. Addressing this issue involves implementing comprehensive approaches that include prevention, treatment, and harm reduction strategies. It also requires holding pharmaceutical companies accountable for their role in the crisis and providing support for individuals struggling with addiction. Aging infrastructure is another critical social issue that affects many communities around the world. In many countries, roads, bridges, water systems, and public buildings are in need of repair and modernization. Aging infrastructure can pose safety risks, hinder economic growth, and limit access to essential services. Addressing this issue involves investing in infrastructure projects that improve safety, efficiency, and sustainability. It also requires developing innovative solutions to meet the needs of growing and changing populations. Another important social issue is media literacy and the spread of misinformation. In today's digital age, people are constantly bombarded with information from various sources, making it challenging to distinguish between reliable and unreliable information. The spread of misinformation can have serious consequences, including influencing public opinion, undermining trust in institutions, and contributing to social and political polarization. Promoting media literacy involves educating individuals on how to critically evaluate information, identify credible sources, and understand the impact of misinformation. It also requires holding media platforms accountable for the content they distribute and promoting transparent and accurate reporting. Religious freedom and tolerance are also critical social issues. People around the world face persecution, discrimination, and violence based on their religious beliefs. Ensuring religious freedom and promoting tolerance involves protecting individuals' rights to practice their religion without fear of persecution. It also requires fostering dialogue and understanding among different religious communities and addressing the root causes of religious intolerance. Another pressing social issue is the digital privacy and security of personal data. With the increasing use of digital technologies and online platforms, individuals' personal data is often collected, stored, and used by companies and governments. This raises concerns about data breaches, surveillance, and the misuse of personal information. Ensuring digital privacy and security involves implementing robust data protection laws, promoting transparency, and giving individuals control over their personal data. It also requires developing technologies and practices that prioritize privacy and security. Economic instability is another significant social issue that affects individuals and communities worldwide. Economic instability can result from various factors, including financial crises, political instability, and natural disaster. It can lead to job losses, poverty, and social unrest. Addressing economic instability involves implementing policies that promote economic resilience, such as diversifying economies, supporting small businesses, and creating social safety nets. It also requires international cooperation to address global economic challenges and promote sustainable development. Urbanization and the challenges of growing cities are also critical social issues. Rapid urbanization can lead to overcrowding, inadequate infrastructure, and environmental degradation. It can also exacerbate social inequalities, as marginalized communities often face limited access to housing, services, and opportunities. Addressing the challenges of urbanization involves promoting sustainable urban planning, investing in infrastructure, and ensuring that all residents have access to basic services and opportunity. Also requires developing policies that promote inclusive and equitable urban development. Another important social issue is the role of social media in shaping public opinion and behavior. Social media platforms have become powerful tools for communication, information sharing, and social interaction. However, they can also contribute to the spread of misinformation, cyberbullying, and social polarization. Addressing this issue involves promoting responsible use of social media, educating individuals on digital literacy, and holding social media companies accountable for the content they host. It also requires developing strategies to mitigate the negative impacts of social media while harnessing its potential for positive social change. Climate migration is another pressing social issue that is becoming increasingly relevant as the impacts of climate change intensify. Climate migration refers to the movement of people due to environmental factors, such as rising sea levels, extreme weather events, and resource scarcity. Climate migrants often face significant challenges, including loss of livelihoods, displacement, and lack of access to essential services. Addressing this issue involves developing policies that support climate adaptation and resilience, providing assistance to affected communities, and promoting international cooperation to address the root causes of climate migration. Public health crises, such as pandemics, are also significant social issues that have far-reaching impacts on individuals and communities. The COVID-19 pandemic has highlighted the importance of public health preparedness, access to health care, and global cooperation in addressing health crises. Ensuring public health involves investing in healthcare infrastructure, promoting preventive measures, and supporting research and development of treatments and vaccines. It also requires addressing social determinants of health, such as poverty and inequality, that can exacerbate the impacts of health crises. Rural-urban disparities are another critical social issue that affects many countries. Rural communities often face challenges such as limited access to healthcare, education, and employment opportunities. These disparities can lead to social and economic inequalities and hinder overall development. Addressing rural-urban disparities involves investing in rural infrastructure and services, promoting economic development in rural areas, and ensuring that all individuals have access to opportunities regardless of their geographic location. The intersectionality of social issues is also an important consideration. Many social issues are interconnected and can compound each other, creating complex challenges for individuals and communities. For example, individuals who face both racial and gender discrimination may experience greater barriers to education, employment, and healthcare. Addressing the intersectionality of social issues involves recognizing and addressing the multiple and overlapping forms of discrimination and disadvantage that individuals may face. It also requires developing comprehensive and inclusive policies and programs that consider the diverse needs and experiences of different communities. Corporate social responsibility is another significant social issue. Companies and corporations have a significant impact on society, and there is increasing recognition of the need for businesses to operate in a socially responsible manner. This includes addressing environmental sustainability, promoting fair labor practices, and supporting community development. Corporate social responsibility involves holding companies accountable for their actions and encouraging them to contribute positively to society. Another important social issue is the preservation of cultural heritage. Cultural heritage includes tangible and intangible assets, such as historical sites, traditions, languages, and arts. Preservation of cultural heritage is essential for maintaining cultural diversity and fostering a sense of identity and belonging. However, cultural heritage is often threatened by factors such as urbanization, conflict, and globalization. Addressing this issue involves promoting the protection and preservation of cultural heritage, supporting cultural institutions, and encouraging cultural exchange and understanding. Another significant social issue is public safety and crime prevention. Ensuring public safety involves addressing the root causes of crime, such as poverty, inequality, and lack of opportunities. It also requires implementing effective law enforcement practices, promoting community policing, and supporting rehabilitation and reintegration programs for offenders. Public safety is essential for fostering a sense of security and well-being in communities. Another pressing social issue is housing affordability. Many people around the world struggle to find affordable housing, leading to issues such as homelessness, overcrowding, and housing instability. Addressing housing affordability involves promoting policies that increase the supply of affordable housing, providing financial assistance to low-income households, and addressing the factors that drive up housing costs. Lastly, the role of education in addressing social issues cannot be overstated. Education is a powerful tool for promoting social change, reducing inequality, and empowering individuals. Ensuring access to quality education for all is essential for addressing many of the social issues discussed. Education can help individuals develop the skills and knowledge needed to participate fully in society and contribute to positive social change. Human rights violations are a significant concern globally. Despite international agreements like the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, many individuals still face violations such as torture, unlawful detention, and restrictions on freedom of expression. Human rights violations can occur due to political repression, conflict, and discrimination. Addressing this issue requires robust legal frameworks, international cooperation, and grassroots activism to hold perpetrators accountable and protect vulnerable populations. Another important social issue is the welfare of children. Child welfare encompasses the protection and care of children, ensuring they grow up in safe, supportive environments. Unfortunately, many children around the world face neglect, abuse, and exploitation. Child welfare issues can stem from factors such as poverty, family instability, and inadequate social services. Addressing child welfare involves strengthening child protection systems, supporting families, and providing resources for education and healthcare to ensure all children can thrive. A significant social issue impacting global health is the spread of infectious diseases. Diseases like HIV/AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria continue to affect millions of people, particularly in low-income countries. Effective prevention, treatment, and education programs are essential to combat these diseases. Global health initiatives must focus on improving access to medical care, developing vaccines, and promoting public health education to reduce the spread and impact of infectious diseases. Food waste is another pressing social issue with both environmental and ethical implications. A significant portion of the food produced globally is wasted, while millions of people suffer from hunger and malnutrition. Food waste contributes to environmental degradation through greenhouse gas emissions and the unnecessary use of resources like water and land. Addressing food waste involves improving food distribution systems, promoting sustainable consumption, and implementing policies that encourage food recovery and redistribution. Indigenous rights are a critical issue, particularly in regions where indigenous populations face marginalization and discrimination. Indigenous peoples often struggle to protect their lands, cultures, and languages from external pressures and exploitation. Ensuring indigenous rights involves recognizing their sovereignty, protecting their lands and resources, and promoting cultural preservation and revitalization. International frameworks like the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples provide a basis for advocating for indigenous rights. The issue of waste management and pollution is another significant social concern. Improper waste disposal and pollution have severe environmental and health impacts, particularly in urban areas and developing countries. Plastic pollution, electronic waste, and industrial pollutants contribute to environmental degradation and pose risks to human health. Addressing waste management involves promoting recycling, reducing single-use plastics, and implementing stricter regulations on industrial waste. Public awareness campaigns and community initiatives also play a crucial role in reducing waste and promoting sustainable practice. Another pressing social issue is the accessibility and affordability of education. While progress has been made in increasing global literacy rates, many children and adults still lack access to quality education. Barriers to education can include poverty, conflict, gender discrimination, and geographic isolation. Ensuring that everyone has access to education involves investing in educational infrastructure, providing scholarships and financial aid, and promoting inclusive policies that address the needs of marginalized groups. Another critical social issue is workplace discrimination. Many individuals face discrimination based on race, gender, age, disability, and other factors in the workplace. Discrimination can affect hiring practices, promotions, wages, and overall work environment. Addressing workplace discrimination involves enforcing anti-discrimination laws, promoting diversity and inclusion initiatives, and creating supportive workplace cultures that value and respect all employees. Cybersecurity and data privacy are increasingly important social issues in our digital age. With the rise of digital technologies, individuals and organizations are more vulnerable to cyber attacks and data breaches. Protecting personal and sensitive information is essential for maintaining privacy and security. Addressing cybersecurity involves implementing robust security measures, educating individuals on safe online practices, and developing regulations that protect data privacy. Another significant social issue is the impact of globalization on local cultures and economies. Globalization can bring economic opportunities and cultural exchange, but it can also lead to the erosion of local traditions and economic inequality. Ensuring that globalization benefits everyone involves promoting fair trade practices, protecting cultural heritage, and supporting local economies. It also requires addressing the negative impacts of globalization, such as exploitation and environmental degradation. Health disparities are another critical social issue. Health disparities refer to differences in health outcomes and access to healthcare among different population groups. These disparities can result from factors such as socioeconomic status, race, gender, and geographic location. Addressing health disparities involves promoting equitable access to healthcare, addressing social determinants of health, and implementing policies that reduce health inequities. Another pressing social issue is the right to clean water and sanitation. Access to clean water and sanitation is essential for health and well-being, yet many people around the world lack these basic necessities. Water scarcity, pollution, and inadequate infrastructure can limit access to clean water and sanitation. Addressing this issue involves investing in water and sanitation infrastructure, promoting water conservation, and ensuring that all communities have access to these essential services. Another important social issue is political corruption. Corruption undermines trust in institutions, hinders economic development, and perpetuates social inequalities. Addressing political corruption involves promoting transparency, accountability, and good governance. It also requires enforcing anti-corruption laws, supporting independent media and civil society, and fostering a culture of integrity in public and private sector. Consumer rights are also a significant social issue. Consumers have the right to safe products, accurate information, and fair treatment. However, issues such as false advertising, unsafe products, and exploitative practices can undermine these rights. Ensuring consumer rights involves enforcing regulations that protect consumers, promoting transparency and accountability in business practices, and educating consumers about their rights and responsibilities. Lastly, the issue of biodiversity loss is a critical social and environmental concern. Biodiversity loss can result from habitat destruction, climate change, pollution, and overexploitation of natural resources. Protecting biodiversity is essential for maintaining ecosystem services, supporting livelihoods, and ensuring the health and well-being of future generations. Addressing biodiversity loss involves implementing conservation strategies, protecting natural habitats, and promoting sustainable practices that balance human needs with environmental protection. Addressing social issues requires collective effort. We can all play a part by staying informed, speaking out against injustices, and supporting organizations that work towards positive change. Small actions, when multiplied by millions of people, can make a significant difference. Thank you for watching today's episode on social issues. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to the English podcast for more engaging content. Let's continue to learn and grow together. See you next time.